Have you ever wondered what goes into making your favorite video game? It's easy to think it just appears like magic on our screens. But behind every adventure, every character, and every world, there's a huge team of people. These aren't just tech wizards, though. They're artists, storytellers, musicians, and organizers, all working together like a massive film crew. It's a real mix of creative minds and technical skills, all focused on one single goal: to build something fun and unforgettable for you to play. It's a fascinating world, and one that's a lot more human than you might think. Think about the last game you played. Remember that incredible landscape, the music that made your heart race, or the story that kept you hooked for hours. None of that happens by accident. One person might have spent months just designing the look of a single character, while another wrote pages and pages of dialogue for them to say. Someone else then had to write all the computer code to make that character move and speak exactly as planned. It's a massive jigsaw puzzle with hundreds, sometimes thousands of pieces that all need to fit together perfectly. This collaboration is what makes game development so special. It's a constant conversation between different departments. The artists need to understand what the programmers can actually build, and the writers need to create a story that fits the world the artists are drawing. Everyone brings their own unique talent to the table. It's a bit like a band, where the drummer, the guitarist, and the singer all have to be in sync to create a brilliant song. When it works, the result is a seamless experience where you, the player, don't see the joins. So when we talk about making a game, we're really talking about building a community. It's a group of passionate people pouring their hearts and souls into creating a new reality from scratch. They face challenges, solve problems, and celebrate successes together. From the very first idea scribbled on a napkin to the final product you download and play, it's a journey powered by teamwork and imagination. And it all starts with a simple spark of an idea, a question of what if, that slowly grows into a world waiting to be explored. Every single game, no matter how big or small, begins its life in the same way, with an idea. This is the concept stage. It could be a simple thought, like what if you could explore a magical forest as a tiny fox, or a more complex one about saving a galaxy from an ancient evil. The team gets together to brainstorm, throwing ideas around until they land on something exciting. They create early sketches and write documents to describe the game's mood, story, and what players will actually do. This is the blueprint, the foundation upon which everything else will be built. It's a crucial first step. Once the idea is solid, the team moves into pre-production, which is all about planning. This is where they figure out the details. How many levels will there be? What will the main character look like? What kind of challenges will the player face? They create a more detailed plan, called a game design document, which is like the instruction manual for making the game. It's also when they decide on the technology they'll use and create a schedule and a budget. Think of it as drawing a detailed map before you set off on a long journey. It helps make sure you don't get lost along the way. Next comes the longest and busiest phase, production. This is where the game is actually built. Programmers start writing millions of lines of code to make the game work. Artists create all the visuals, from the characters and environments to the menus and icons. Writers craft the story and all the dialogue, while sound designers create music and sound effects to bring the world to life. It's a hive of activity, with different teams working on their parts of the puzzle simultaneously. They build a rough, playable version of the game, often called a prototype, to test if the core ideas are fun. Finally, after all the building is done, the game enters testing and release. Before a game can be shared with the world, it needs to be checked for problems or bugs. A team of testers plays the game over and over again, trying to break it in every way possible. They report any glitches they find, like a character getting stuck in a wall or an item not working correctly, so the programmers can fix them. After months of polishing and fixing, the game is finally ready. It's launched on platforms like PlayStation, Xbox, or Steam, and the team waits nervously to see how players react to the world they've spent years creating. So who are the people actually doing all this work? Let's meet some of the key players. First up, we have the programmers or developers. These are the technical architects of the game. They write the complex code that acts as the game's brain and nervous system. If you see a character jump, an enemy attack, or a door open, it's because a programmer wrote the instructions to make it happen. They are the ones who turn the designer's ideas and the artist's creations into something that actually works and responds to your controller. They are the magicians behind the curtain, making the impossible possible. Then we have the artists, the visual creators who give the game its look and feel. This group includes many different specialists. Concept artists are the first to put ideas on paper, drawing the characters, creatures, and landscapes to set the visual style. Three-dimensional modelers then take these drawings and build them into three-dimensional objects inside the computer, like digital sculptors. Animators are the ones who breathe life into these models, making them move, walk, and express emotion. Together, they create the entire visual world you see on your screen, from the smallest blade of grass to the most epic dragon. Of course, a world isn't just about what you see, it's also about the stories it holds. This is where the writers and narrative designers come in. They create the game's plot, write the dialogue for every character, and craft the background lore that makes the world feel real and lived in. They think about how the story will unfold for the player, creating quests, missions, and emotional moments that keep you engaged. A great story can turn a good game into an unforgettable experience, making you care deeply about the characters and their journey. They are the soul of the game. And we can't forget the designers and producers. Game designers are like the directors of a film. They make the big decisions about how the game should play. They design the rules, the challenges, the levels, and the overall player experience to make sure it's fun and balanced. Producers, on the other hand, are the project managers. They keep the entire project on track, managing the schedule, the budget, and the communication between all the different teams. They are the organizers who make sure everyone is working together smoothly and that the game gets finished on time. Let's look at a simple example to see how this all works in practice. Think about a hugely popular game like Minecraft. Its creation story is a bit different from a big studio game, but it shows the core principles perfectly. It all started with one person, Marcus Notch Persson. His initial concept was incredibly simple. What if you had a world made of blocks that you could build with and explore freely? There was no grand story or complex characters at first. The core idea was simply about creativity and freedom. This was the concept stage in its purest form. As Notch started building the first version of the game, he was acting as the programmer, artist, and designer all at once. The early graphics were very basic, just simple, blocky textures. This was the production phase, but on a tiny scale. He released a very early version of the game online, allowing players to try it out and give feedback. This was a form of public testing. Players loved the core idea of building whatever they could imagine, and their excitement helped shape the game's development. He listened to what they wanted and added new features like crafting and survival elements. As the game's popularity exploded, Notch realized he couldn't do it all alone. He founded a company called Mojang and started hiring more people. He brought on artists to improve the look of the blocks, creatures, and world. He hired more programmers to help add new features and fix bugs. A team began to form around the initial idea, turning the small personal project into a massive global phenomenon. The production process grew, with dedicated teams working on different versions of the game for consoles, mobile phones, and PC, all while keeping the central spirit of the game intact. The story of Minecraft shows that you don't always need a giant studio to make a successful game. It proves that a strong, fun idea is the most important ingredient, but it also shows that as an idea grows, it needs a team with different skills to help it reach its full potential. Today, hundreds of people work on Minecraft, constantly adding new content and updates. It's a living, breathing world built not just by its creators, but by the millions of players who build, explore, and share their own creations within it every single day. It's a wonderful reminder that anyone with a passion for creating can start a journey into making games.